losing it. So now we're gonna go to Houston. I believe my next guest, Samira, Noorali. Yeah, Samira.
Well, how are you?
Thanks for joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun. This is exciting.
So I think this is the first time we are talking face to face. Because I remember last time when we talked, I think it was with the Kamal Haji band. I think you were part of it that time, right?
Yeah, I think it was for a track we were working on with Salim Suleiman.
That's right, yeah. And we have Saif as well. Yeah, hello, Saif.
Hello, Malali Madad.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Shukr. And yourself?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
So yeah, Samir, of course, we'll talk about your song Ali Goyam in a while. That's in a little bit. But if I ask you who's Samira, if you can tell us, about your who's Samira Noorali? We don't know you.
Yeah, well, this is one I would have enjoyed preparing for. Who am I? I think that at this stage of my life, I am perhaps I'm a multifaceted artist. I think that's probably the best way to describe me. I do a lot of things. I think people may know me best as a composer, and as a singer. But I'm really very much, I think, most interested in theatrical work. And so you often see some of my music and my creative work on theater stages.
Yeah. So, if you've been with the music for a little while, when did you start your your basic music, you can say practice or your journey?
So, I was one of those 5-year-old children who was put into piano classes, and so my parents started me really early in life, and they supported my journey, helped me to grow, and music turned into many other pursuits as well. So I was doing piano and voice, choir, I was dancing, I was doing lots of other things, and then after that I ended up in very formal training and that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. So where are you right now? Are you in Houston? Am I right? Are you?
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah, you're okay. So yeah, Saif, when did you join, or when did you meet Samira? Do you know? Now you are working with her now.
Yeah, there's a couple of funny stories that
I love to hear.
Yeah, we recalled these stories after so basically my first, I always knew Samira as my teacher, right? Teacher, and then she became my mentor in music and now in other things too, because she has a lot to offer, which is so nice. I never say this stuff to her, by the way. It's just to throw on here. That's why I'm being nice. No, I'm kidding. So, I was in my mid-teens. And if you remember, there was this thing called iStar, which was something for Ismaili students, an academic sort of thing where they can apply and get some sort of levels or something. So they needed someone to sing the anthem, and I had always had an interest in singing. I don't think I had a lot of clarity as to what I wanted to do with it, but I thought I like this and I want to maybe be better at this. So I had auditioned to sing the national anthem at this banquet, and she was a judge who was listening. They had asked her to listen to whoever's auditioning and kind of choose someone. And it was funny because I totally butchered the anthem. I sang it horribly. So that was probably the first time Samira ever heard me. And then afterwards she started the Ismaili Musicians concert series when she lived in Houston before, which was geared towards not necessarily look at me, look what I can do, I can sing, I can play the piano, but it was more geared towards you like this. You have a raw talent. You have a raw talent coupled with an interest in some sort of art form. Be better at it. Be better at it so that whatever you want to convey through your art, you can do it.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah.
So that's where I got to know Samira better.
So Samira, you're in Houston for a while now. So tell us about Ismaili artists in Houston in general.
Yeah, so I got a lot of my start musically in Houston, and it's through programs, through community programs like the one that Saif was involved in, and other programs as well. And I guess what I have to say about Houston artists is that there are a lot of people here with lots of diverse talents and diverse abilities, and it helped me grow. I learned from those people, and many of them were either my students or my participants, if you look at it technically in terms of my role with them. But,
Yeah.
I very much see a lot of these people as my teachers too.
Yeah, right. So, your song, the one was issued, I believe, last month. I think it was the Navroz, March 21. So I'm gonna try to play a little bit. Let's see if it works. I think it should work. But let's see if I can play. Okay. So just play with me.
Oh wow, how nice.
And then a chorus behind it. So like Samira, when did you when was the first time you thought about it? What was your first, you can say, thoughts about it? Then you started to move.
I first heard this, a rendition of this song at in the preparations for the Aga Khan's homage ceremony, Maulana Hajiram's homage ceremony, and it was used in the soundscape that was performed there. And it is a qasida, and when I first heard it, I thought it was really beautiful. It was a very sing-songy, sort of piece. Even the verses sounded very I'll just demonstrate for you, might as well. But, it sounds something like, and so it sounds very, excuse me, I'm feeling a little frog in my throat.
Yeah.
There's sort of, there's a rhythm to it like that. And I enjoyed that rhythm, but I really felt like I wanted to feel it more internally, right? And so I kind of put in my own sort of a feel into it, so that, for example, that verse, the way that I sort of redid it was, so it was sort of slower. It was more inside, of me. And so when I was hearing it, even in my mind, I was hearing it, that way.
Yeah. So, of course, when this song published on YouTube, and but then you got messages from your friends and family members. So if you can share with us, any story behind it when you guys are rehearsing or kind of practicing, anything, interesting story you can share.
Yeah. When so when we were practicing this one, it was really fun because we were, practicing at Saif's house, in rehearsal. And, we were practicing this everywhere. So in a sense, we're bringing the spirit of this piece just everywhere we were going, so there was, there's an area of his home upstairs where we'd practiced it. We brought this song downstairs. We were practicing. Eventually at the dining table, we were practicing. We had a dining table rehearsal. And so it's like the whole home was full of this, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So Saif, Samira being a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
what was your reaction when you heard the song or when you heard the project?
Yes. So for me, this idea that devotional literature that I grew up with, right? I think my first introduction to any sort of singing, I'm pretty sure was Ginans. My mom said that she even listened to Ginans when I was in the womb. So it goes back quite far. And so to think that someone could take, of course it's not a Ginan, but in the genre, to think that someone could take something that, you know, we grew up with, that we hear in Jamaat Khana recited a certain way, which is a nice way, but take it and reinterpret it in their own way, and make this a proper piece, like a fully done, a piece that has some direction, and that you can take, because I mean, when you're reciting in Jamaat Khana by yourself, there's only so much you can do. You can do a lot, but there's only so much you can do. But then when you have a soundtrack, when you have multiple vocalists singing different parts, there's so much more. So I thought that was very exciting.
Yeah. So, like, of course, it's been like more than 2 years now for the Diamond Jubilee when Hazmam came to North America, of course, to USA, and then kind of we just had our like our 2-year anniversary here in Calgary. So, like in general, Samira, how was the Diamond Jubilee experience for you as a musician, as a singer, and as a community member?
I think that musically, of course, it was very touching, to be a part of something where you can sing, you can express, but it was very much, it felt very much like, something that had to be very organized, something that you had to be responsible for something, bringing your ideas. It's not just expression. It's not just doing what you feel like, but it's creating something that people can really feel as well, right? And so that takes organization, that takes really putting mind to something. So as a singer, I think that was and of course as an Ismaili, you always feel very grateful for something like this, right? It's a very surreal sort of experience.
True. So, if I ask you, about your future project, so is anything in the lineup right now? Anything you are kind of working on it or thinking about it?
Yeah, we have several more pieces coming, and they're going to come through Impressions of Devotion, the album, and they're all devotional in nature, and that's why it's called Impressions of Devotion, and they are my personal interpretation of this devotion. So what is it so I think, when we sing together as a community, or we know certain songs as a community, or hymns, or Ginan, or Qasida, or any of that, there is a community interpretation, but for me, I have my own way that I understand things, and so that's what's going to be coming out.
Yeah. So, do you remember, so now His Highness, he's taking so much interest in sports and music now, because we saw the Jubilee Games in Dubai, then we had Jubilee Arts in Lisbon. So, this question to both of you, I'll start with you, Saif. What do you think, now you can see, His Highness thinking so much big about all the artists and sports players. What do you think as a person, or as a musician?
Yes, I feel like the Imam is sort of, it's interesting. I feel like he's setting the stage for people to connect through the arts. And I truly do think that the Imam wants people to create stuff that they consider to be beautiful. I think that he wants people to have the tools. He wants people to think about what they're making, to think about who they're reaching, and think about what it is that they want. Because as much as something that you create is for other people, it's also for yourself, right? Even a response from other people, it serves you, because it kind of lets you know how your work is being received. So yeah, that's what I'm understanding. I think that the Imam really does want and especially with Aga Khan, the music, right? There's an award for music or something, or a music initiative, AKMI, I think that's what it's called. And they're preserving, what they do is that they take, from my understanding, is that they take people who are sort of keeping some traditional form of music alive. And reaching a new audience with it. So they're kind of taking something that might be considered dying out and revitalizing it. So that's very exciting. Sure. I think that's what he wants.
Yeah, sure. What about you, Samira? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that there's such a responsibility toward keeping cultural music alive, because that's a perspective that can be lost forever, if it's not actively kept alive. So I definitely see that aspect. I think that as a lot of these initiatives are Also for people to be getting their individual voice out there and giving them an opportunity to gain a certain level of mental focus in their art, because, like I said before, expression is good. It's a thing. We throw something out there and that's nice. But there's something so much more that goes on in the creation of work and so much clarity that happens for an individual themselves in their life, that happens not just from making the thing, but also from listening to it. We change. We change when we hear something truly, genuinely beautiful and when we make something truly, genuinely beautiful where there's thought put into it. And so I think that for me, all of these things are encouraging moving past just expression.
Right. So do you guys follow Salim Suleiman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll take you 5 years back, when he started his first tour to North America. Then he had his kind of workshop with the new students, like musicians, singers, I think, as well. So, it's my own opinion. I think when they did their first tour, then they came back twice again. I think that created a lot of smiley artists, or a lot of buzz in the smiley Muslim community, don't you think? Because I think their presence I think we are blessed to have them in our community.
Yeah, I think that,
anything about their work, what they do for community?
Yeah, I think that they've inspired a lot of people, and they've made music as a career and as a business less exclusive in the way that they talk about it, which is really great because, a lot of people I think felt that they needed to get discovered or something like that in order to make it in the arts, where that is such a flawed notion. You don't have to get discovered by anybody. You've got YouTube. You've got, if you have something to say artistically, then you should say it. And I feel like that's actually a message that I took away from hearing them speak at their workshops and just from hearing them talk about how one can really take their own music education as well into their own hands and become empowered. So I feel like they did a lot for the community in that way.
Zach, what do you want to say?
About how they're impacting the community?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I feel like they're an inspiration for many people. I feel like any sort of, and I think like the question then becomes like, do you necessarily look up to someone who has made it, or do you kind of have a bigger scope and look at the piece? Like for me, there's certain artists who I might be a fan of, right? Like a really big fan of. But if they make something I don't like, then I don't like it. So I personally, I think I'm a little more attached to certain pieces. Like, if I really like their song Ye Hosla from Door, I really like the piece because anyone, you're making something for a specific time, right? Or from some inspiration that comes to you in that moment. So that kind of I think that's a beautiful thing, that it registers to different people in different ways.
Yeah, true. So like Samira, do you play any an instrument at all?
I play piano.
And just the piano,
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, I play piano and then I sing, and those are my instruments that I also use to teach with. That's what I use to compose.
So, what's the last message you want to say to your listeners, the viewers, your friends, your family members? What do you want to say?
I hope that everyone had a chance to hear the song on the show, but if you haven't, go to YouTube, go listen to it, Ali Goyam, and my funny little demonstration with a frog in my throat does not represent the actual song. So please do listen to it and be inspired by it. Sometimes we ask people to comment and that kind of stuff, and it's not just to bring attention to the piece. It's so that we can get to know our fans, because some of the times when we don't know who we're playing to, we're also missing out on the chance to connect with that person. So please comment, let us know what you think. And we're excited to hear more from fans. Yeah.
Then, we are waiting for your new song, for your new, for this album. And what's your Facebook page, if you want to share with your Facebook page?
The Facebook page that everyone should follow now is Impressions of Devotion. That's the name of the album. And you should go there and you'll get all of our updates.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Samira and Saif. And we'll be in touch, inshallah, when you have your new song comes out. So hopefully we'll do it again.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for your support, Jalal.
Sorry for the interruption. It wasn't in my head. I don't know what happened suddenly.
It's fine.
So thank you so much and all the best and be safe in this corona.
Thank you. Everyone go follow Impressions of Devotion so you can see everything that's coming up.
Thank you so much, Saif, and Samira. Thank you so much. All the best.
Bye-bye.